Welcome to California in Focus. I'm Eliana Kernodle. A new California law allows criminal defendants from disproportionately convicted racial groups to challenge lawful convictions as state leaders seek to balance criminal justice reform with skyrocketing violent crime. Joining me to tell us more is the Center Square's California reporter, Kenneth Schrupp. Kenneth, can you tell us more about this law and what it does?
Hey, Eliana. California passed a pair of laws in 2020 and 2022 called the Racial Justice Acts, which created a few new paths for convicts to petition for reduced sentencing or even conviction reversals. Under the first main pathway, convicts can petition for any instance of biased language or conduct inside or outside the courtroom by anyone involved with their trial. This could be statements made about the individual's race. It could be something, it could be text messages. It could be really a large number of things. And this has already been used to overturn life sentencing for individuals in Oakland who were convicted of a gang murder. What the FBI found during an investigation was racist text messages between police officers regarding the four defendants. Even though it was found that the defendants were lawfully convicted, the presence of racial animus in the text regarding the four individuals from police officers was used to reduce their life sentence. Those individuals are still facing substantial prison sentences, but it is much less than a life sentence. The other pathway that was created is proving that there is disproportionality in conviction or sentencing for individuals compared to other groups of race or national origin at the county level. The last pathway the Racial Justice Act provides petitions for is if the sentencing or conviction could potentially provide negative immigration consequences for an individual. This means that someone who is illegally in this country, or maybe even on a green card, but is convicted of a felony or violent crime that would require their deportation, they can file a RJA petition to see if they can get that sentencing reduced or conviction overturned so they can stay in the country.
And you mentioned that these were passed in 2020 and 2022, but they didn't go immediately into effect, right?
No, they did not. It wasn't until January of 2024 that all current convicts could start filing RJA motions.
The former Los Angeles County Sheriff weighed in on this topic. What did he have to say?
He focused on how, I might as well read you his quote. He said, "The pursuit of equity in the name of justice is a Trojan horse designed to free convicted felons solely based on the color of their skin, ignoring the simple fact that they were arrested, tried, and convicted based on what they did. Show me the evidence where the law was applied differently due to skin color," said former Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva. There's some data that does seem to support what Alex said, and it comes from when you challenge Assemblymember Ash Kalra's data he cites in support of the RJA. He was the author of this bill. He cited California Department of Justice Judicial Council data saying that black men are 42% more likely to be sentenced to prison than white men convicted of a felony. But once you look more into the report from the Judicial Council the same year, they say that black men are 0.8 percentage points less likely to be convicted if all other factors were held constant and the race switched to white.
Some have argued that this law actually hurts minorities. What's their perspective?
Manhattan Institute senior fellow and author Heather McDonald spoke to us about this. She's covered this in City Journal, in the Wall Street Journal. And what she tells us is that what people tend to forget is that the victims of crime are overwhelmingly those from minority communities, and that we have to remember the victims as well, not just the plight of those who might unjustly be in prison. What Heather told us is, and I'll quote here, "In Los Angeles, blacks are 20 times as likely to commit a violent crime as whites and 36 times as likely to commit a robbery. These data come from witnesses to and victims of these crimes, mostly minorities themselves, in their reports to the Los Angeles Police Department. And it is those crime disparities that should be the focus of civil rights groups, since the victims of violent street crime are also disproportionately black. In Los Angeles, blacks are 17 times as likely to be a homicide victim as whites."
Well, Kenneth, thank you for your insights on this story. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com.
Are you tired of news that puts politics over people? At the nonprofit Franklin News Foundation, we believe in putting people over politics by delivering nonpartisan news and audio content that serves you, the American taxpayer. With Franklin News Foundation, you can read fact-based, state-focused news for free at thecentersquare.com. You can listen to civil, balanced conversations between policy experts through our podcast network at americastalking.com. Or you can get in-depth news on K-12 education spending, curriculum, and school safety at chalkboardnews.com. It's all free through Franklin, where we put you, the American taxpayer, first in every story, episode, and conversation. And it's only possible through our supporters. Together, we can produce content that puts people over politics and brings Americans the news they deserve. Become a supporter today at franklinnews.org/donate. Once again, that's franklinnews.org/donate.